The Art of Asking. How to obtain anything you desire. Let me ask you something. What if the difference between the life you have and the life you want is simply one question? One request made with clarity, courage, and conviction. Hey, Dana Show winners, welcome to The Art of Asking. How to get whatever you want. This isn't about manipulation, and it's not about entitlement. It's about rediscovering your voice and unlocking doors that have always been there. You just needed the courage to knock. In the next 10 chapters, you'll learn why most people never ask, how to make bold requests without fear, when to ask, how to ask, and who to ask. And most importantly, how to ask in a way that transforms not just your outcomes, but your identity. Because people who know how to ask, know how to lead, know how to grow, know how to win. So if you're ready to stop waiting, stop wishing, and start asking, you're in the right place. Let's begin.
Chapter 1. The Power of the Ask. Let me pose a thought-provoking question. When was the last time you got exactly what you wanted because you took the initiative to ask for it? Not just hoped for it quietly, not patiently waited for the perfect moment, not subtly hinted at it in conversation, but you actually asked, directly, boldly, and with confidence. For many people, that moment is a distant memory, or perhaps they can't even recall it. Society has conditioned most of us to whisper our wishes rather than articulate them clearly. We often choose to be polite instead of powerful, burying our true desires under layers of hesitation, fear, and a mindset of, "I'll just wait and see what happens." But let me make something abundantly clear. Every single thing you want to achieve in life, every breakthrough you desire, every opportunity that comes your way, every transformation you long for, it all begins with one bold ask. It's not about plotting out 10 steps ahead. It doesn't hinge on having a perfect plan in place. It's simply about making one courageous choice. To speak up, to make a request, to claim what is rightfully yours. Asking is a superpower, and most people never use it. Do you want to create a significant shift in your life? Then you must ask. Do you want to expand your business beyond its current limits? The answer lies in asking. Do you truly want to feel seen, heard, respected, and valued by others? Know that these feelings do not materialize by mere chance. They occur intentionally. And that intention is given life through your ability to ask. What distinguishes those who achieve their dreams from those who merely wish for them? The answer is straightforward. The winners are the ones who speak up. They knock on doors that others fear approaching. They send messages rather than remain silent. They make those critical calls instead of letting opportunities slip by. They do not wait for someone to give them approval or permission. They generate momentum simply by using their words. If you don't ask, you simply won't receive. And you know what? That's not a personal failure or rejection. That's just the reality of life. What happens when you don't ask? Let's be brutally honest for a moment. There have likely been times in your life where you have missed out on important things. Opportunities, chances, and memorable moments have passed you by. And it wasn't because you lacked the skills or the talent. It was often because you never mustered the courage to speak up. You sat quietly in meetings, hoping your hard work would shine through and be noticed on its own. You remained in relationships where your needs were consistently unmet, but fear held you back from asking for more. You stored your dreams away like locked treasures, waiting for some undefined moment when you would finally feel ready. But silence isn't a cornerstone of strategy. Silence is surrendering your power. And let's be clear, you were never designed to live your life in retreat. Asking is not begging. Let's clarify an important misconception right now. Asking is not the same as begging. It does not mean you are desperate. It is not a reflection of weakness. It is not inherently selfish. In fact, asking is a form of leadership. When you choose to ask, you are demonstrating strength and self-assurance. You are asserting that your voice matters and that your needs are valid. Consider every successful individual you admire in your life. None of them sat in silence, passively waiting to be acknowledged. They took the initiative to ask. They actively sought out meetings. They pursued investments that mattered to them. They applied for jobs that interested them. They reached out for the support and help they needed. And because they dared to ask, they opened the door to receive what they desired. Why we struggle to ask. So why is it that more people don't take the step to ask when they truly need something? The answer can be distilled down to one word: fear. Fear of being told no. Fear of coming across as pushy or overly assertive. Fear of making a mistake or not being articulate enough. Fear of being perceived as selfish. But here's what I want you to fully grasp today, and I truly mean this. Hearing a no does not break your spirit. Instead, it teaches you valuable lessons. It redirects your focus. It refines your next ask, helping you understand what you need to adjust for better outcomes in the future. In contrast, silence stunts your growth and starves your potential. It keeps you anchored in place, constrained by your fears, limiting your opportunities. Asking requires two things: clarity and courage. To master the art of asking, you must first cultivate clarity. You cannot ask for what you desire if you don't even understand what it is. So take a moment to reflect and ask yourself, what do I genuinely want right now? Be honest with yourself. Be bold and unapologetic in recognizing your true desires. Once you gain that clarity, you must bring forth the second key ingredient: courage. Courage to voice your needs. Courage to be direct in your communications. Courage to place yourself in the spotlight and be seen. Your ask unlocks everything. Your ask is not merely a burden to bear. It is a bridge that connects you to the life you envision for yourself. It is the mechanism through which you transition from your current reality to the fulfillment of your true potential. You don't need to possess the loudest voice, or the highest qualifications, or the most extensive experience. What you really need is to be clear in your intention to ask, and brave enough to take that step forward despite any fears. Each compelling success story you hear begins with someone who was willing to declare, "Here's what I want, and here's what I'm asking for." Call to action. What will you ask for? Now, this is your moment. Right here, right now. As you turn this page, take a pause in your day to reflect. Ask yourself, what have I been waiting for but truly need to ask for? Speak it out loud. Write it down in a journal. Practice articulating it clearly in front of a mirror. Because from this moment forward, you are no longer the silent version of yourself. You are stepping into the bold version, the confident version, the asking version. And what does that version look like? That version does not simply survive their circumstances. They thrive and they win. They know precisely what they desire. They ask for it unreservedly, and they persistently pursue it until it is theirs. This is merely the beginning of your journey. In the next chapter, we will delve deeper into the reasons why most individuals refrain from asking, and how you can ensure you don't fall into that common trap. But for now, carry this important lesson with you. Your life will not transform by chance or coincidence. It will change through your courage to ask. So go ahead, speak your truth, say what you need, own your desires, and ask without hesitation.
Chapter 2: Why Most People Never Ask. Let's take a moment to reflect on something important. If asking is such a powerful tool, if it truly is the key to unlocking the things we want in life, then why do so many people hesitate to use it? Why do countless individuals remain silent even when they're yearning for a change in their circumstances? Why do they choose to freeze instead of expressing their needs? Why do they mutter, "I wish," under their breath, but never summon the courage to say, "I want"? In this chapter, we're going to uncover a truth that many avoid confronting. The fundamental reason that prevents people from asking is not simply a lack of opportunity or a shortage of words. It goes beyond fear of failure, and it's rooted in something much deeper. Reason number 1: we were taught to stay quiet. Consider your upbringing, the environment you grew up in, the messages you received as a child, and the lessons you learned during your formative years. How many times were you told, "Don't speak unless spoken to," or "Stop asking so many questions"? Perhaps you heard phrases like, "Be grateful for what you have," or "You're being too demanding." From a young age, we were conditioned to minimize our voices, to play small. We learned that asking for what we want was perceived as rude, selfish, or even inappropriate. Over time, these lessons became deeply ingrained, leading us to internalize the silent expectation to not disturb the status quo. We often adopted labels like low maintenance, easygoing, and no trouble at all. But let me pose a question to you. How effective has this silence been in your life? How is your reluctance to speak up serving you today? Reason number 2: we're afraid of the no. This fear of rejection is universal. It doesn't discriminate based on how confident or self-assured you may appear. It is the nagging anxiety that surfaces when we think about the possibility of someone saying, "Sorry, no," or "That's not possible," or "You're asking for too much." But let's reframe our understanding of rejection. A no does not equate to your worth as a person. It does not represent a failure on your part. Instead, it signifies that you took a chance. When you receive a no, you gain valuable insights, data that can help guide your next steps. A no does not close doors. It simply points you toward the ones that will open for you. Conversely, silence guarantees nothing. When you remain silent, you miss out on the opportunities that could lead to growth and fulfillment. Reason number 3: we don't want to look needy. Here's a tougher truth we need to confront: ego. Let's be honest with ourselves for a moment. We pride ourselves on appearing independent, put together, and unbothered. Often, we would prefer to struggle in silence rather than risk the perception that we are weak or needy. However, it's critical to recognize that asking for help doesn't make you needy, it makes you strategic. The strongest individuals, whether they are leaders, innovators, or entrepreneurs, are those who know how to ask for assistance, clarity, or opportunity. When you take the step to ask, you don't come across as weak. Instead, you present yourself as someone serious about their desires and unafraid to pursue them.
Reason number 4. We don't think we deserve it. This particular barrier is often insidious, creeping into our thoughts in subtle ways. Phrases like, "Who am I to ask for more?" or "I'm not special," can dominate our inner dialogue. There's a voice that tells us, "I should just be satisfied with what I have." That voice you hear, it's not representing humility, it's expressing limitation. It's self-sabotage masquerading as modesty. You are not greedy for wanting more from life. You are not selfish for making a request. You are inherently human, and the pursuit of growth and improvement is your right. The world does not reward silent self-sacrifice. It rewards those who display clear intentions and express their desires. Reason number 5. We are addicted to playing small. Here's a harsh reality we need to confront. Some individuals refrain from asking because remaining in a state of stagnation feels familiar, safe, and predictable. The act of asking signifies a willingness to embrace change, to explore new possibilities, and to accept increased responsibility. This prospect can be daunting, because if you ask for something and receive it, you're suddenly faced with the reality of what comes next. Now you must grow. Now you must take action. Now you must rise to meet new challenges. And for many, that discomfort is intimidating. But here's the enduring truth you must remember. Comfort zones are never meant to be permanent addresses. They are merely temporary stops along your journey, not your ultimate destination. So, what do we do with this? Now that you understand the reasons behind your reluctance to ask, you can begin to confront these obstacles head-on. Awareness is your strongest ally. Starting today, reflect on these questions. What beliefs did I absorb while growing up that made asking feel wrong? What am I truly afraid will happen if I choose to ask? What narratives am I telling myself that keep me muted? What version of myself is willing to ask, and how can I embody that version? The aim is not to be completely free of fear. The aim is to ask despite it. Call to action. Break the pattern. Right now, identify one specific area of your life where you've been silent for too long. It could be in your workplace, within your relationship, or even in your relationship with yourself. Now take that silence and transform it. Speak your truth. Formulate your question. Make your request. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't seek retroactive permission. Don't delay until you feel ready. Just take that step and ask. In the next chapter, we'll delve into how to construct the perfect ask, one that is not only confident and clear, but impossible to ignore. But for now, commit to this promise. I refuse to remain silent simply to maintain safety. I will ask because I believe I am worthy of receiving the answer.
Chapter 3. The Psychology of Permission. Let me ask you something. Who exactly are you waiting for? Who is this invisible figure you're holding out for, hoping they will finally provide you with the green light you crave? This elusive permission slip, this sought-after validation, this sign from the universe that unequivocally states, yes, you may ask now. Here's an uncomfortable truth we must face. Most individuals go through life never asking for what they truly desire, not because they lack the capability to do so, but because they have been silently, almost subconsciously waiting for permission throughout their entire lives. Think about it. You've waited for permission to speak up in meetings or discussions, to be genuinely seen for who you are, to take up physical and emotional space in the lives of others, to desire something greater than what life has handed to you without question. And let me be clear, this
isn't your fault. What you're experiencing is a learned program. It was instilled in you at an early age, starting from childhood classrooms where you were required to raise your hand just to take a trip to the restroom, to family rules that equated "don't ask for too much" with virtue rather than caution. Society has ingrained the belief that asking for what you want makes you selfish or demanding. It has taught you that being direct is a form of rudeness, that yearning for more equates to ingratitude. Over time, you internalized these messages. You stopped asking altogether and began to hope instead. You waited for others to notice the efforts you put forth. You anticipated your needs to be understood without uttering a single word. You waited for the universe to bestow upon you something you never explicitly voiced your desire for. But here's the reality you must confront. No one is coming to give you that permission. And the truth is, you never needed it in the first place. Why we wait for permission. Psychologists refer to this phenomenon as learned helplessness. It emerges when a person begins to feel that their actions have no impact, that even if they were to voice their thoughts or desires, nothing would actually change. This mindset becomes a mental filter through which you perceive the world around you. And once it's installed in your psyche, your brain starts to scan for evidence to confirm this belief. You see rejection everywhere you turn. You dwell on the solitary instance when someone told you no, while conveniently forgetting the multitude of times when you were indeed heard and responded to positively. You find yourself shrinking back before anyone even challenges you. And this perception becomes your lived reality. Not because it is inherently true, but because your mind has been conditioned to believe it with unwavering certainty. Now, let's delve into this so-called permission trap. There exists a common belief nestled within the minds of many individuals. I must become more before I can ask for more. What do I mean by more? More qualifications, more charm or likability, more experience and expertise, more perfection in my endeavors. Consequently, they postpone their desires. They engage in preparation that feels endless. They wait to feel worthy of making their ask, rather than realizing that the very act of asking is integral to personal growth and development. You don't have to wait until you achieve perfection before making your requests. Instead, you should ask, and through that act of asking, you rise to the level necessary to meet your goals. Here's something important to remember. The most successful individuals throughout history didn't sit back idly waiting until they felt completely ready. They took action. They embraced readiness, and in doing so, they gave themselves permission to lead the way. Reclaiming the right to ask. Now, here's what unfolds when you consciously decide to stop waiting for permission and actively start claiming it for yourself. You discover that your voice was never too loud or disruptive. You cease apologizing for simply having needs that deserve to be recognized. You stop hiding your ambitions and aspirations under a cloak of invisibility. You grow less shocked when the answer to your inquiries turns out to be yes. You will begin to respond to people differently, not because you alter your fundamental nature, but because you have finally chosen to show up confidently as someone who truly believes they rightfully belong at the table of opportunity. Let's be real for a moment. You're not seeking out a miracle. You're requesting genuine opportunity, clarity of purpose, and meaningful connection. You have every right to make these requests. The internal rewire, a new script. Let's take the moment to rewrite the narrative playing in your head. From this instant forward, instead of allowing yourself to think, "Who am I to ask for this?" you will train yourself to replace that thought with, "Who am I not to?" You don't need a prestigious title. You don't need to receive an official invitation. You don't have to wait around for someone else to take the initiative and lead the way. You possess a fundamental right to speak your truth, to ask for what you want, to knock on doors that may lead to new opportunities, to claim what you know is meant for you. You don't need to be perfect to take action. You simply need to be present and willing to engage. Try this, the daily ask exercise. Let's turn this concept into something practical and actionable. Here's a challenge for you. For the upcoming 7 days, commit to asking for one thing each day that you typically wouldn't dare to request. It could be something small and manageable. Ask for a discount at your favorite store. Seek help with a task you're struggling with. Ask for someone to truly listen to you, to hear you out without distraction. Or it could be something more substantial. Ask for a meeting with a mentor or leader in your field. Seek constructive feedback on a project that's important to you. Ask for that opportunity you've been dreaming about, but hesitated to voice. What's crucial here is not the outcome of each request. What truly matters is the practice itself. Every time you ask, you weaken that nagging voice that tells you you're not allowed to seek help or answers. You rewrite your internal script. You build the muscle of assertiveness, because asking is a skill that gets stronger with consistent practice and use. Final thoughts. You're the gatekeeper. Here's a vital truth you must remember. You are the only person who has the power to unlock the next level of your life. And the key to that unlock is found in the question you have yet to ask. Stop passively waiting for someone to tap you on the shoulder and give you a nudge. Stop hesitating for the perfect moment to arrive. Stop waiting until someone tells you you're ready. You're not meant to whisper your wishes. You are here to declare your desires boldly and unapologetically. So go ahead, say it, ask for it, own it with confidence, because the only permission you ever truly needed was your own. Now let's move forward with intention and courage. It's time to learn how to craft your ask so well they can't ignore it. Chapter 4. The Anatomy of a Great Ask. Let me ask you this. Have you ever had the courage to speak up and make a request, only to be met with a disappointing no? You replayed the moment in your head. You second-guessed your timing, tone, and wording. You wondered, did I ask incorrectly? The truth is, maybe you did. Not because you're not worthy, but because every powerful ask follows a formula. There is an art to asking, and behind every enthusiastic yes is a well-crafted structure that made that answer possible. Today, we're breaking it down. This is not about manipulation. It's about clarity, confidence, and communication that connects. So let's dissect the anatomy of a great ask, piece by piece. Part 1. The intention. Know what you want. The biggest reason most asks fall flat is simple. They're vague. You might ask for help, to connect, or if someone has a minute. However, people don't respond well to unclear language. They respond to precision. Before you ask, get clear on what exactly you want. Is it a 30-minute meeting? A chance to present your idea? A discount? A raise? A yes to something specific? Don't just hope they'll figure it out, spell it out. If you don't know what you're asking for, how can anyone else? Part 2. The reason. Why it matters. Next comes the why. This is the emotional core of your ask and where you build a connection. People say yes when they understand what's at stake, not just for you, but for them. So ask yourself, why now? Why does this matter? Why should they care? This isn't about begging, it's about building a bridge of relevance. For instance, if you're asking your boss for a leadership role, don't just say, I want to grow. Instead say, I believe I can make a bigger impact in this area, and here's how I've already started doing that. Tie your ask to the value, not just desire. When people see the reason, they also see the reward. Part 3. The language. How you frame it. Words matter. The way you frame your ask shapes how it's received. There's a big difference between saying, can I bother you for something, versus, I'd love to get your insight on something important. One weakens your request, while the other elevates it. Use language that conveys value, clarity, and confidence. Here's what I'm proposing. I'd love your support on this. This is something I believe could benefit us both. Drop the disclaimers. Stop saying, I'm just, or I hate to ask, or sorry to bother. Those phrases diminish your energy before the real ask even starts. You're not a bother, you're an opportunity. Speak like it. Part 4. The structure. Build it right. Every great ask has 3 essential components. 1. The setup. Brief context, just enough for relevance. Example, I've been working on a proposal to increase our team's productivity. The ask itself. Direct, clear, and specific. Would you be open to a 20-minute meeting next week so I can walk you through it? The next step. If so, I can send over a calendar link and a draft by Thursday. When you guide someone through the ask from start to finish, you eliminate confusion and build momentum. People love certainty, so give them a clear path. Pro tip, ask one thing at a time. Have you ever heard someone ramble through multiple requests in one breath? Hey, I was wondering if you had time to talk, and maybe you could help me with that file and also give feedback on this, or not if you're busy? It's exhausting. Make one ask, clean, direct, and focused. If they say yes, great, you've earned their trust to ask more later. Overloading the ask weakens the response. Clarity equals confidence. Part 5. The delivery. Own it with energy. This is where most people sabotage their ask, not in the words, but in the energy behind them. Even a perfectly crafted ask can fall flat when delivered with hesitation, doubt, or apology. Confidence is contagious, so is uncertainty. Here's the truth. How you ask influences how people respond. If you sound unsure, they'll doubt you. If you speak with belief, they'll lean in. Deliver your ask as if it deserves a yes, because it does. Stand tall, speak up, pause when needed. Let your voice carry the power of your purpose. Practice scenario: the confident ask formula. Let's walk through an example using all 5 components. Situation: you want to ask someone you admire for a coffee meeting. The setup: I've been following your work in the design space for a while now, and your journey really resonates with where I want to grow professionally. The ask: would you be open to a quick 20-minute coffee meeting next week so I can ask a few questions and learn from your experience? The reason? I'm at a pivotal point in my own career, and I believe your insights could really help me make the right moves. The value? I know your time is valuable, so I'll come prepared and keep our conversation focused. The next step? If next week works for you, I'd be happy to accommodate your schedule. That's a complete, powerful ask. Short, specific, respectful, and confident. Remember this. Your ask is a gift. Here's the mindset shift that changes everything. You're not begging, you're offering. When you ask, you're offering a chance to collaborate, a chance to help, a chance to connect, a chance to grow together. Your ask is not a burden, it's a bridge. And if someone declines, that's okay, because every ask builds your confidence. Some may say no, some may say not now, but the right ones, the aligned ones, will say yes because your ask deserves to be heard. Now that you understand the structure, energy, and language of a great ask, you're no longer just hoping for a yes, you're earning it. Next up in this journey, let's go even deeper, because in Chapter 5, we will explore one of the most powerful and underrated aspects of asking: timing and tact, when and how to ask for maximum impact. Are you ready? Let's go.
Chapter 5. Timing and Tact. When and how to ask for maximum impact. Let me ask you a question that might sting a little. Have you ever made the right request to the right person, but at exactly the wrong time? You said the right words, you felt prepared, but the response you got? Flat, dismissive, or worse, completely ignored. And you wondered what went wrong. Well, it wasn't the request, it was when you asked and how you framed it in that moment. See, asking isn't just about courage or clarity. It's also about timing and tact. Let's dive in, because if you can master this chapter, you'll not only get more yes responses, you'll get them faster, easier, and with more grace. Timing is energy, not just the clock. We often think of timing as just picking a slot on a calendar, but in reality, timing is emotional energy. Let me explain. Think about the last time someone asked you for something. Were you in the middle of something stressful? Were you mentally somewhere else? Did the request feel like a weight instead of an opportunity? Now, reverse it. When you make a request, you're stepping into someone else's mental and emotional space. So the question becomes, what energy are they in? And does it match your request? Don't ask for a raise when your boss is visibly overwhelmed. Don't pitch your big idea when someone has just experienced a major failure. Don't initiate a deep conversation right before a deadline. Instead, pay attention. Timing is about reading the room. Ask yourself, are they calm or chaotic? Present or distracted? Open or closed off? Great askers are great observers. Number 2, tact is emotional intelligence in action. Tact is the twin of timing, and it's all about how you ask. Let's say you're about to ask for help. There are 2 ways to approach it. You can say, I need you to do this for me now. That feels abrupt, maybe even entitled. Or you could say, I know you've got a lot going on, but I truly value your help with something. Can we find a moment that works for you? That's respectful, considerate, tactful. Tact is how you present your request. It's the tone, the empathy, the awareness of the other person's situation. It's the difference between making people feel pressured and making them feel respected. The truth is, people don't say yes just because of what you ask. They say yes because of how you make them feel in the asking. Number 3, know the rhythm. Every environment has its own. Every place, every team, every relationship has its own rhythm. If you ask something out of sync with that rhythm, it gets ignored. If you ask in harmony with the pace and pressure of the moment, you get noticed. Let me give you an example. In corporate life, Mondays are often chaotic. Fridays are winding down. Midweek is prime ask time. People are in stride, not stressed or checked out. In relationships, don't ask something significant in the middle of a conflict. Wait until the energy is settled, mutual, and calm. In digital settings,
Don't drop a big request in a long email with no subject line. Use clarity, relevant subjects, and proper context. Timing isn't just when on the clock. It's when in the flow of people's lives. When you respect people's rhythms, they respect your request. Number 4, the pre-ask. Set the stage. Great askers don't just make their request. They warm up the room first. This is the pre-ask, and it's a secret weapon. What does that mean? It means dropping hints. It means planting seeds. It means preparing the emotional ground before you make the request. Example: you want your partner to be more involved in a household routine. Instead of suddenly demanding it, you say, "I've been feeling a little stretched lately. I've been thinking maybe we could adjust how we're handling things. Can we talk about it soon?" That's a pre-ask. In professional settings, you might say, "I've been working on something I'm really excited about. I'd love to get your thoughts soon when you have some time." You've opened the door. You've respected their space. Now, when the real ask comes, they're ready. Number 5, track your ask history. Here's something nobody talks about. People remember how often and how thoughtfully you ask. If every time you speak to someone, it's just to ask for something, it won't matter how good your timing is. But if you also provide value, if you show gratitude, if you offer support, then your requests carry more weight. They're more welcome, more likely to get a yes. Track your ask rhythm. Are you always asking? Are you only showing up when you need something? Give before you ask, and your returns will multiply. Number 6, when not to ask. The power of patience. Here's a truth that can save you from 1,000 rejections. Sometimes the best approach is not to ask. Not yet, not now. At times it's better to wait, to build more value, to earn more trust, to choose a better moment. Impatience pushes you to act prematurely. Wisdom encourages you to prepare. Rushing your request can lead you to squander a golden opportunity, all because you couldn't wait just one more day. Strategic silence is a strength. You don't always have to go first. Sometimes it's better to let the moment come to you. Number 7, prime the moment, then strike. Now let's shift to an offensive approach. When you do see the right moment, seize it. Don't overthink, don't hesitate, don't stall with maybe later. When the timing feels right, when the energy is open, when the connection is strong, ask with all your presence, with all your purpose, with all your preparation. Here's the truth: the difference between average askers and extraordinary ones. Average askers wait for permission. Extraordinary askers create alignment and then ask without fear. Quick recap: mastering timing and tact. Read the room. Energy matters more than the clock. Use emotional intelligence. Speak with care and clarity. Respect rhythm. Time your ask with the flow of the environment. Plant the pre-ask. Warm up the space before making a request. Be mindful of patterns. Don't always ask, also give. Wait when needed. Strategic silence is powerful. Strike when aligned. When the moment opens, go for it. You now have the mindset, the structure, the timing, and the tact. You're no longer guessing your way to yes. You're asking with intention and impact. But there's one more thing you need to hear next. In Chapter 6, we'll explore the invisible game that surrounds every ask. Overcoming rejection. Turning every no into your next opportunity. Rejection isn't the end. Often, it's just the doorway, and I'll show you how to walk through it with power. Let's keep going.
Chapter 6. Overcoming Rejection. Turning every no into your next opportunity. Let me ask you something important. What does a no mean to you? Does it feel like a wall stopping you cold? Does it feel like a rejection of you as a person? Or worse, does it echo as, "You're not good enough"? Be honest, because how you process a no determines how fearless and successful your requests will be in the long run. Here's the truth that most people never realize. A no is not the opposite of a yes. It's the path to it. Every bold asker in history, every leader, artist, entrepreneur, and world changer faced no after no before the doors finally opened. The difference? They knew how to hear it, handle it, and use it. Let's turn your fear of rejection into your most valuable advantage. 1. Understand this. A no is rarely about you. Let's start with the most common myth, that rejection means you did something wrong. But here's what's really happening most of the time. The timing wasn't right. The other person had their own priorities. They were afraid of saying yes. They didn't understand the value yet, or they simply weren't the right audience. That doesn't make you a failure. It just means they're not ready. Write this down. A no doesn't mean I'm not worthy. It just means the moment wasn't aligned. Let that truth liberate you, because once you stop taking rejection personally, you stop giving it power over you. 2. There are 3 types of no's. Learn to recognize them. Not all rejections are created equal. Some are soft, some are firm, and some are actually invitations in disguise. Let's break them down. Type 1 is not yet. This is the most common and most misunderstood. It sounds like, "I'm not sure right now. Let me think about it. Maybe later." This is a conditional no. They're not rejecting you, they're delaying the decision. Your move? Stay gracious, stay visible, follow up with value. Many people who say no today become a yes tomorrow if you stay in the game. Type 2 is not you. This one can hurt a little more. It sounds like, "We're going with someone else. I don't think you're the right fit. I'm looking for something different." This is a personal mismatch, not a personal attack. It means your ask may be solid, but it's not aligned with this person or this place. Don't chase it, redirect, refine, and ask elsewhere. Sometimes the best no is the one that saves you from spending energy in the wrong direction. Type 3 is never. This is the clearest and the rarest. It sounds like, "I'm not interested. No, and please don't ask again." That's not something I support. This is a boundary. Respect it. You don't argue, you don't push, you walk away with grace. But don't confuse this type of no with failure. Even a firm no can teach you something about people, about timing, about clarity, and about yourself. If you listen carefully, rejection is providing you with feedback. 3. Train your mind to see rejection as redirection. Let's flip the mindset. What if every no was actually a lesson, a nudge, a test of your resilience, or even a blessing in disguise? Because often it is. You didn't get that job? Now you have the freedom to pursue something more aligned. They said no to your idea? Now you're free to refine it into something stronger. They turned you down. Now you have clarity and no more wasted time. Rejection isn't just something to endure, it's something to leverage. 4. Use the rejection review. Don't let it go to waste.
Here's a practical tool. After every major no, conduct a rejection review. Ask yourself, was my ask clear? Was my timing aligned? Did I demonstrate value? Was this the right person or place to ask? What can I adjust next time? Be honest, not self-critical. This isn't about shame, it's about sharpening your skill. Remember, asking is a practice, not a performance. 5. Detach from outcome, attach to the process. Do you want to know a secret? The best askers aren't obsessed with getting a yes, they're obsessed with getting better at asking. They know that every time they ask, they gain experience, stretch their courage, sharpen their message, and become more fearless. Whether the answer is yes or no, they win either way. That's the mindset of someone unstoppable. Detach from needing a yes every time. Attach to the power of putting yourself in the arena. 6. Rejection is a filter. Let it do its job. Here's the truth most people never say out loud. You don't want everyone to say yes. Why? Because not every opportunity is right for you. Not every person aligns with your values. Not every yes will lead to growth. Rejection filters out what's not meant for you. Let it. When someone says no, they're showing you who they are. Believe them, bless them, and move forward. Because the real gold is found when you ask again, wiser, sharper, and stronger. 7. Don't let one no silence your next yes. Let me leave you with this. Rejection is not the end of your ask, it's the beginning of your evolution. Don't let one no define your story. Let it refine your voice. Let it deepen your courage. Let it sharpen your vision. Ask again, and again, and again. Every no you survive builds a confidence that no yes ever could. Quick recap, turning no into fuel. Most no's are not about you. Don't take them personally. Learn the 3 types of rejection and respond accordingly. Use each rejection as an opportunity to review and grow. Stay focused on the process, not just the outcome. Let rejection filter out what's not meant for you, and never let one no silence your voice. Now you know the truth. You don't need to fear rejection, you need to dance with it, because behind every no is a wiser version of you, ready to ask again, ready to ask better, and ready to win. Coming up in Chapter 7, we'll dive into the next key ingredient, the power of specificity, why vague asks get ignored. You've learned how to ask, now let's make sure people can hear you and respond with clarity. Let's keep going.
Chapter 7. The Power of Specificity, Why Vague Asks Get Ignored. Let me ask you this. Have you ever tried to ask for something and received a vague, lukewarm response? You ask someone for help and they nod, but nothing happens. You pitch your idea and they say, "Interesting," but never follow up. You post your needs online and it disappears into silence. Here's why that happens, and it's more common than you think. Because your ask was too vague, too soft, too broad, too forgettable. Here's the hard truth. The world doesn't respond to wishy-washy. The world rewards clarity. If you want people to say yes, you must make it easy for them to do so. And that starts with one skill: specificity. Number 1. Vague asks repel. Specific asks attract. Imagine this. Someone walks up to you and says, "Hey, can you help me with something?" How do you feel? Unclear, cautious, uncertain. Now imagine someone says, "Hey, can you introduce me to your graphic designer? I need a logo made this week and I loved yours." Big difference, right? The second ask is precise, actionable, and confidence-inspiring. It tells your brain, A, I know exactly what's needed. B, I know how to help.
C, I'm more likely to say yes. Here's the formula. Vague asks create friction. Specific asks create flow. If you want better results, sharpen your words. Number 2, know exactly what you want and say it. Before you can make a specific ask, you have to know what you want. That might sound obvious, but it's not. Many people don't ask clearly because they haven't clarified their own needs. They feel stuck, they feel frustrated, but they haven't translated their need into a clear request. So here's your first job. Get precise with yourself. Ask, what exactly am I asking for? Who is the best person to ask? What do I want them to do, say, or agree to? What's the timeline? Why does it matter now? Once you're clear in your mind, your ask becomes magnetic. Clarity isn't just power, it's persuasion. Number 3, use the ask blueprint so you never sound unclear again. Let me give you a simple tool. It's called the Ask Blueprint, and it works in almost any situation. Here it is. Context, what's the situation? Request, what exactly do you want? Why this matters to you or them? Next step, what should happen next? Let's plug that into a real-world ask. Example, hey Maria, I saw that you recently got featured on that podcast. Context, I'd love an introduction to the host. I think my work in emotional resilience could really complement their themes. Request, I've been building momentum and visibility, and I believe this could really help me serve more people. Why? Would you be open to a warm email introduction this week? Next step. See how smooth that is? That's the power of structure and specificity. Now you sound like someone worth helping. Number 4, specificity builds confidence, yours and theirs. Let's talk confidence. When you're vague, people sense hesitation. When you're specific, they sense certainty. People love to follow clarity. When you walk in and say, I'm looking for 3 speaking opportunities in the next 60 days, specifically in education or wellness spaces, you sound like a pro. You've done your homework. You respect their time. You've made it easy for them to help. That's attractive. That's empowering. That's how doors open. Because nobody wants to solve your puzzle. They want to plug in to your clarity. Number 5, the nice trap. Don't be so polite you become powerless. Let's call out something that holds so many people back: over-politeness. You tiptoe around your ask, softening it so much that it loses meaning. You bury it under disclaimers like, I totally understand if this isn't possible. No pressure. I just thought I'd throw this out there. It's probably a long shot, but stop. You're not doing anyone a favor by shrinking your power. You can be polite and powerful at the same time. Try this instead. I respect your time, so I'll be direct. Here's what I'm hoping for. If it's not possible now, I totally understand, but I had to ask. That's the balance. Direct plus respectful equals effective. Number 6, repetition kills impact. Say it once, say it clearly. When we're nervous, we ramble, we repeat, we circle around the ask instead of landing it. But in powerful communication, less is more. Don't bury your ask under 4 paragraphs. Don't make people hunt for your meaning. Don't talk them out of helping you with too many words. Instead, say it once, say it clearly, then pause. Let it land. People remember short, bold, clean asks. Number 7, people can't say yes if they don't know what you're asking. Here's a simple truth. You cannot receive what you don't clearly request. If your request is vague, people won't say no out of cruelty, they'll say no out of confusion. Or worse, they may just do nothing, which can hurt more than a rejection. So be specific. Ask for the meeting and specify the day.
Ask for support and describe the help you need. Ask for an opportunity and name the role, the goal, and the reasoning behind your request. Don't assume that people can read your mind or guess your needs. Make your requests clear, straightforward, and meaningful. Quick recap: the art of clear, specific asking. Vague requests create confusion. Clear requests create confidence. Know exactly what you want before you ask. Use the Ask Blueprint: context, request, why, next steps. Be respectful but direct. Avoid shrinking or rambling. Edit yourself. One clear request is better than 10 unclear ones. People want to say yes, but they need to know what yes looks like. Here's the bottom line: the clearer your request, the clearer your path. Every yes starts with you deciding to be specific. The universe, your friends, and your colleagues can't provide what you don't request with clarity. Don't just ask. Ask with conviction. Coming up next in Chapter 8, the follow-up framework. In our next chapter, we'll explore what happens after making your request. Chapter 8, the follow-up framework. How to stay top of mind without being pushy. You've learned how to ask. Now let's learn how to remain relevant and respected even when the answer takes time. Let's keep going. You're asking like a pro now.
Chapter 8, the follow-up framework. How to stay top of mind without feeling pushy. Let me guess. You finally asked. You finally sent that message. You finally put yourself out there. And now you're waiting. Refreshing your inbox, replaying the moment, wondering, should I say something again or just leave it alone? Welcome to the tricky middle ground of the ask, the follow-up. It's where most people freeze. They don't want to sound annoying. They don't want to appear desperate. They're afraid they'll ruin the ask. So they do nothing. But here's the truth. If you don't follow up, you leave your future in limbo. And worse, you leave them unsure of what to do next. So today, we fix that. 1. Why most people never follow up and why that's a mistake. Let's clear the air. Most people avoid following up because of fear. Fear of seeming needy. Fear of being ignored again. Fear of ruining the relationship. But here's what's really happening. You're assuming silence means no. But in the real world, silence usually means they forgot. They got busy. Your ask got lost in the noise. So no, following up isn't annoying. In fact, it's often appreciated. It shows you're serious. It shows you're organized. It shows you follow through. But only if you do it right. So let's talk about how to do it right. 2. The follow-up framework. Simple, smooth, respectful. Let's build your follow-up framework. You'll use this every time you make an ask and don't hear back. It's built on 3 simple principles. Be respectful, be clear, be concise. Here's the structure. 1. Remind them of the original context. Hey, just circling back on the message I sent last week about speaking at your event. 2. Reaffirm your interest. I'm still really excited about the possibility. I believe I could bring a lot of value. 3. Invite a clear next step or timeline. Let me know if there's any more info you need or if a decision will be made later this month. Boom, that's it. No guilt, no begging, no pressure. Just clean, clear, professional communication. You're not being annoying, you're being a leader. 3. How often should you follow up? Great question. Here's a rule of thumb. Follow up after 5 to 7 business days. Why? Because it gives people enough space to respond without letting your ask go cold. And if there's still no reply, you can send a second and final follow-up a week later. Here's what that might sound like. Just wanted to check in one last time regarding my previous messages. Totally understand if now's not the right time, but I didn't want to leave this hanging. This message does 3 powerful things. It reminds them again, it respects their time, and it gives you closure, whether they reply or not. Because remember, sometimes silence is your answer, and that's okay too. So, 4. Follow up without being robotic. Personalize it. Now here's where most people mess it up. They copy and paste. They send cold, templated follow-ups that feel like spam. But people can tell. They can feel the difference between a follow-up and a formula. So here's the fix. Add a human touch. Mention something recent from their world. Compliment something you genuinely admire. Thank them for their work even if they haven't replied. Here's an example. Hi again, James. I saw your recent LinkedIn post about burnout and leadership. Super insightful. Just wanted to nudge this back to the top of your inbox in case you missed it. Now that feels real. That feels respectful. That feels worthy of a response. 5. Don't take silence personally. Let's pause here and talk about what's underneath the surface. Rejection hurts. Even unspoken rejection. When someone doesn't reply, we tell ourselves stories. They didn't care. I must have said it wrong. I'm not important enough. Stop. Silence does not mean you failed. It means they're human and life is full. You don't control their calendar. You don't control their priorities. You only control your effort and your attitude. So be proud of the ask. Be proud of the follow-up. Then let go of the outcome. You showed up. That's the win. 6. No is not the end. It's information. What if they do reply and say no? Guess what? That's still a win, because now you have clarity. You can pivot. You can improve. You can ask someone else. Even better, sometimes a no now becomes a yes later, especially if you respond gracefully. Here's how to reply. Totally understand. Thanks so much for getting back to me. I'll stay connected and keep cheering you on. Polite, classy, confident. You're not burned, you're building rapport. The follow-up isn't just about this ask, it's about building a reputation over time. Recap. Your follow-up power moves. Let's review the key lessons from this chapter. Don't assume that silence means rejection. It's often just forgetfulness. Use the follow-up framework. Remind, reaffirm, invite next step. Wait 5 to 7 business days before your first follow-up. Make it personal. Add something recent or kind to your message. Don't take it personally. Silence isn't a reflection of your worth. If they say no, respond gracefully. You're building long-term trust. Always follow up once, sometimes twice, before letting go. Listen, people are busy. Inboxes are noisy. Attention is rare. When you follow up respectfully and clearly, you stand out. You show that you're serious, that you care, and that you finish what you start. That's not pushy, that's powerful. In Chapter 9, we're going to unlock a whole new level of asking. Chapter 9, Asking Up. How to make bold requests to powerful people without feeling small. Let's be honest,
the people who can help you the most often feel the furthest away. We're going to change that. We'll teach you how to ask boldly no matter who you're speaking to. So stay tuned, your next big yes might be just one courageous request away.
Chapter 9. Asking Up. How to make bold requests to powerful people without feeling small. Let me ask you something. Who's that one person who could change everything for you, if only you had the courage to ask? You know who I'm talking about. The CEO, the investor, the influencer, the person who's way up there while you feel down here. Let's be real. Asking up can feel terrifying. It's intimidating. It's vulnerable. It stirs up every insecurity you have. Why would they listen to me? I'm just a nobody. What if I embarrass myself? But here's what they never taught you. Powerful people aren't allergic to being asked. In fact, they often expect it. So, today we break the fear. We unlock the mindset, language, and courage you need to ask up with confidence, clarity, and class. 1. Why most people never ask up. Let's face it, we've all been trained, subtly or overtly, to stay in our lane. Don't bother busy people. Don't make waves. Don't overstep. So what do? We disqualify ourselves before we even ask. We say things like, they probably get 1,000 messages a day. I'm sure they're too busy. Why would they even care what I have to say? And here's the truth. Yes, powerful people are busy. Yes, they do receive a lot of requests, but they're also human. They're curious, they respect boldness, and most importantly, they remember people who show courage. So let's flip the script. Instead of seeing yourself as a bother, see yourself as a bold opportunity. 2. What powerful people actually respect. Here's what most people don't understand about high-level individuals. They don't respect flattery. They don't respond to desperation. They don't have time for vague requests. But you know what they do respect? Clarity, specific value, and a respect for their time. Want to impress someone at the top? Don't try to sound impressive. Be clear, brief, and genuine. Here's what that might look like. Hi, name. I've followed your work in field for a while. I'm launching a project that aligns with your vision around topic, and I'd be honored to get your quick thoughts or even be pointed to a resource. Simple, humble, direct. Not, please mentor me forever. Just a clear, actionable request they can say yes or no to without overthinking. 3. How to craft the perfect upward ask. Let's break down the anatomy of a great ask directed to someone above you on the ladder. Use this 5-part structure: clean, sharp, and human. 1. Open with gratitude or respect. First off, thank you for the impact your work has had on me. I deeply respect what you've built in. This creates rapport and shows you've done your homework. 2. Get to the point quickly. I have a quick ask that I think could be a win-win. Don't ramble. Don't pitch. Be clear about why you're writing. 3. Make the ask, clearly and respectfully. Would you be open to a 10-minute call? May I send over a 1-page idea for your feedback? Would you consider introducing me to someone on your team? Keep it simple, actionable, and light on commitment. 4. Acknowledge their time. Totally understand if now isn't a fit. I appreciate you either way. If you're too busy, no pressure at all. This shows maturity and emotional intelligence. 5. Close with warmth.
Thanks again for all you do. You've impacted me more than you know. Because even if they say no, you just left a great impression. 4. Power doesn't equal perfection. Here's a little secret no one tells you. Even the most powerful people doubt themselves sometimes. They've been rejected, they've made poor decisions, they've had awkward moments. They're not superheroes. They're humans who have made enough bold moves over time. So don't shrink in their presence. Don't disqualify yourself. Don't assume your voice isn't worth hearing. The moment you start believing you belong in the room starts listening. 5. Small ask first, big ask later. One of the best ways to connect with someone above you is start small. Instead of asking for an hour of their time, try a one-sentence tip, a quick piece of feedback, a book or podcast recommendation. These are easy for them to answer and create a natural opening for future engagement. Because remember, a door doesn't swing open when you shove it. It opens when you turn the handle gently. 6. If they say no or don't respond. Let's say you reach out and nothing happens. No reply, no answer, just silence. What do? You don't crumble. You recalibrate. Maybe your message wasn't clear. Maybe the timing was off. Maybe it just wasn't a fit. But that doesn't mean you're not worthy. It means you're learning. It means you're trying. It means you're in the arena. And that's where all the growth happens. Recap: the courage to ask up. Let's bring it all together. Here's your playbook for asking up. A. Don't self-reject before you even ask. Be clear, brief, and respectful. Focus on a small, specific, and actionable request. Respect their time and provide an easy out. Personalize your approach. Avoid robotic pitches. Follow up once if necessary. Do so gracefully. If you don't hear back, move forward confidently. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. The easier it gets, the bolder you will be. And the bolder you become, the more yeses you will create. The truth is, asking up isn't about being fearless. It's about being brave anyway. It's about believing in yourself. It's about recognizing that you belong, even when you're feeling nervous. It's about understanding that the person you're afraid to ask is once exactly where you are now. So go ahead, be bold, be kind, be clear, and ask. In our final chapter, Chapter 10, the ask that changes everything, we will bring everything together. We'll discuss the ultimate ask, the one that could change the trajectory of your life. Are you ready for that kind of leap? Let's finish strong.
Chapter 10. The Ask That Changes Everything. We've come a long way, haven't we? From understanding the fear of asking to mastering the timing, the tact, the words, the mindset. Now, it all comes down to this: the ask that changes everything. Not because it's the biggest, not because it's the flashiest, but because it's the one that changes you forever. So let me ask you this one last time. What do you really want? Not what sounds reasonable, not what others think you should want, not what you've settled for. I'm talking about the dream that's been quietly sitting in the corner of your soul, waiting for you to speak it out loud. The one you barely whisper, the one that makes your heart race when you imagine it becoming real. That's the ask we're talking about today. And it's time. Number 1, the real purpose of asking. Most people think asking is about getting something. But by now, You know better. Asking is about something deeper. It's about claiming your voice. It's about stepping into your own power. It's about declaring to the world and to yourself, I am no longer afraid to want what I want. That alone can change the trajectory of your life. Because once you find your voice, you stop shrinking. You stop waiting. You stop apologizing. You begin to own your future. Number 2, the ask that scares you most. Let's be real. The most powerful ask you can ever make is the one you're most afraid of. It might be asking to leave a job that's suffocating your spirit, asking someone you love for what you really need, asking for the funding to start your dream business, asking for forgiveness from someone else or from yourself, asking life for more than just survival, but for joy, passion, and abundance. And sometimes it's not a person you need to ask. It's you. Ask yourself, am I willing to stop hiding? Am I willing to risk discomfort for the life I truly want? The answer to that question, that's your breakthrough. Number 3, why most people never make this ask. Here's what stops most people from ever making the ask that could change their life. Fear of rejection. Fear of being too much. Fear of hearing no and crumbling inside. So, instead, they play it safe. They shrink their dreams. They wait for permission that never comes. But listen closely. A no won't kill you. A closed door doesn't define you. Silence is not proof you're unworthy. What will destroy your spirit is regret. So don't let fear become your compass. Let desire, let vision, let courage. Number 4, how to prepare for the ask. This isn't the kind of ask you make casually. This isn't the time to wing it. So here's how to prepare. Write down what you want. Not a vague wish, a clear, specific, soul-aligned desire. Not, I want to be successful. Try, I want to get accepted into the program or job by date, because I know I belong there. Visualize the conversation. See it, hear it, feel it. Visualize the moment, your body language, your words, your tone, your courage. This primes your mind for confidence. Practice your words out loud. Record yourself. Rehearse. Let the words feel real in your mouth. Because when you speak your truth with conviction, people listen. Know why it matters. Anchor yourself in your why. When you ask from purpose, not panic, your energy changes. Your ask becomes magnetic. Number 5, you are not asking for a favor. Let's make something clear. You are not begging. You are not a burden. You are not hoping for crumbs. You're offering a moment of connection. You're proposing a partnership. You're creating a door where there was once only a wall. Powerful asking isn't about convincing someone to give you something. It's about showing them why it matters. To both of you. And if they say yes, amazing. If they say no, you're still standing, taller than ever. Because you asked. Because you showed up for your dream. And that changes your decisions. That changes your posture.
That changes your life. Number 6, what happens after you ask? You made the ask. Now what? Maybe you get a yes. Maybe you get a no. Maybe you get silence. But the biggest shift already happened. In you. You're no longer waiting. You're no longer wondering. You've moved from fear into action. And that energy, that becomes unstoppable. Because now you trust your voice. You respect your desires. You've proven to yourself that you have what it takes to go for it. That changes your decisions. That changes your posture. That changes your life. Number 7, your challenge starting today. So here's your challenge, not next week, not when you feel ready, today. Pick one request. Just one. Make it count. Maybe it's sending a message. Maybe it's having a conversation. Maybe it's booking a meeting. Maybe it's walking up and saying, "Hey, this matters to me. Can we talk?" Whatever it is, do it with courage. Do it with clarity. Do it with the conviction that your voice matters. Because it does. Number 8, final thoughts. You're ready now. You don't need more permission. You don't need a perfect script. You don't need to be fearless. You just need this: a desire worth asking for. A voice that refuses to stay quiet. And the courage to take the first step. You've spent your life waiting for someone to ask you the right question. Now, you become the one who asks. Because those who ask, boldly, kindly, consistently, are the ones who shape their destiny. This is no longer theory. This is no longer inspiration. This is the moment. So go, ask, and don't stop asking until the life you imagine becomes the life you live.
Summary of the book. Key takeaways from each chapter. Think of this as your go-to cheat sheet, a recap of the lessons that will stay with you long after you finish reading. Chapter 1. The Power of the Ask. You don't get what you deserve in life. You get what you have the courage to ask for. Asking is not a sign of weakness. It's a display of strength in motion. Chapter 2. Why most people never ask. Fear, conditioning, and low self-worth keep most people silent. Awareness is the first step towards change. Chapter 3. The Psychology of Permission. We're taught to wait for approval. However, internal permission, the ability to validate yourself, is where your power begins. Chapter 4. The Anatomy of a Great Ask. Clarity, confidence, connection equals a compelling ask. Know your desired outcome, speak your truth, and ask with alignment. Chapter 5. Timing and Tact. A well-timed ask resonates more profoundly than a rushed one. Know when to speak and read the emotional temperature before you ask. Chapter 6. Overcoming Rejection. Rejection isn't personal, it's redirection. Every no gets you closer to the right yes. Chapter 7. The Power of Specificity. Vague requests yield vague responses. Be specific, measurable, and emotionally anchored in what you want. Chapter 8. The Follow-up Framework. Following up isn't nagging. It's a form of leadership.
Follow up with grace, confidence, and respect. Chapter 9. Asking up. Don't be afraid to ask those in higher positions. Gatekeepers are people too. Often, they're waiting for someone like you to step forward. Chapter 10. The ask that changes everything. The most important ask you'll ever make is the one that transforms you. Your voice, your identity, and your destiny are shaped the moment you boldly request what matters most. And there you have it. You've just taken a journey through the inner and outer mechanics of asking, from silence to self-expression, from hesitation to action, from fear to freedom. You now hold the key, not because you memorized techniques, but because you remembered what's been inside you all along. The right to ask, the right to want, the right to speak up for your dreams, your value, and your future. So don't let this be just another audiobook. Let it be a turning point. Open your mouth, raise your hand, send the message, make the request. And if your voice trembles, let it. Because every time you ask, you grow. And every time you grow, your world expands. You're no longer waiting. You're asking. And that changes everything.